Hello, my name is Elyse. Welcome. Today I am making a simple slimline card using colored pencils to color in some floral images. Here's a look at the card we're going to make. Let's jump into the project. So my main supplies for this card is this Blooming Bunch stamp set, the Slimline card series scallop card panels, and the Marshmallow alphabet die set. All of these are from Trinity Stamps and they are all linked down below. Taking that largest scalloped slimline frame and die cutting it out with some craft cardstock. I'm using some post-it note tape here to mask off the scalloped portion so that I only have what is inside of the stitched line to be stamped. This is really easy masking that you can do, but I think it makes your card look a lot cleaner. Just using my Misti, this is the new Misti, which I love, by the way, and some VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and just stamping down that largest image from the stamp set. Using my sweatshirt sleeve to kind of glide over the Misti door and get a good impression and even pressure the whole way around. Missed a spot, and so I went back in and stamped it again. That's the beauty of the Misti. I am just taking some polychromos colored pencils here and coloring in this floral image. I have it stamped off to the side so that I have plenty of room for my greeting. I also think that this makes the card design just look a lot more simple. My style is definitely more modern, more clean and simple. And so this is a way that I can make a slimline card and not have it be full to the brim with images. But if I cluster them all to one side, it becomes a focal point. It also makes it so I don't have to do nearly as much coloring. Coloring is not my strong suit. I think that it's very fun and I love to color. And today it was really funny when I made this card. I hadn't used my colored pencils in quite some time, and I thought it'd be really fun to pull them out and use them for this project. Sometimes it's fun to challenge yourself. You know, a lot of the times, those of us who craft kind of become part of our hobby becomes collecting, and we don't always use what we have collected. And so I have many different I have multiple kinds of watercolor markers. I have multiple kinds of other markers and colored pencils. And I have all of these supplies that sometimes I don't always use because for me, I often gravitate either towards Copic markers or my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers as my coloring medium of choice. And so it was fun to challenge myself and make myself use something that I haven't used in a while. I originally bought the 36 pack of these polychromos pencils, and that's what I've linked down in the description box for you. And then my husband and I went on vacation, and when we were in Germany, I found an art supplies store. And they sold these colored pencils individually. So I just picked out some additional colors. So what I have is probably more like 50 pencils, but it's not quite a set because some of them I picked and chose by hand based on the ones that I wanted and colors that I know I used. A tip here when you are using your colored pencils is to make sure that they are always very sharp. So when I am coloring with my colored pencils, I always have my pencil sharpener there and handy. Just going through and coloring these. I think the sunflower makes this really look a little bit more fall. Also using the craft cardstock. I don't know why, to me that makes it look more fall, but it does. And so I am just going through and using a few bright colors here and there, but mostly trying to keep this a little bit more muted so that it's, a card that kind of can span a few different seasons. I think so much of the time we get caught up in new releases and releases that are so season specific, and then that season passes and we maybe don't use the stamp sets as much as we thought we would. So this set this Blooming Bunch stamp set was actually released at this point a few months ago. And so it really is more of a springtime set, but if you can use it again and use it for something else, then you get a lot more mileage out of the supplies that we buy. Going in these little smaller flowers and coloring them in some purple tones. And then after that, that's the end of the flowers, and I'm just using various greens on the leaves. You could color in all of these clusters of leaves the same shades of green if that's what you have. Because there's just so many leaves, I wanted to do a variation. This project really made me want to break out these colored pencils more often, and so I think I'll be using them again soon. It was so much fun to use them. And again, I am not an expert colorer in any medium, but it's a lot of fun and it's fun to practice, and it's fun to kind of grow our skill set and do something different. So I left in all of the coloring here. All told, this took me just about 15 minutes. This is of course sped up so that you don't have to watch 15 minutes worth of coloring, and you can instead watch about 7 minutes. So yeah, it was really fun to do, and I look forward to using these again soon. One last set of leaves here to color. Again, this set I actually only used one shade because I don't have another shade like this to blend with. But for basically everything else, I think I used 2 shades of colored pencils for. The polychromos blend pretty well together. I'm not sure about any of the other colored pencils on the market. The only other set I have are a very basic Prismacolor set that I think are made more for like school-age children, if I'm being honest. But for while I had them at the beginning, they worked until I got these, and I love these a lot. And if you're looking for good colored pencils to invest in, I highly suggest these polychromos pencils. Okay, now moving on to the card assembly. I have die cut that Hugs 3 times out of 110-pound white cardstock. Thought that the white would be a really good contrast. Just using those stitch lines to kind of line these up straight. Adhering down that H, I've done the U and the G off camera, and now I'm doing the S. Just using some liquid adhesive to glue these down. I use the same liquid adhesive to adhere the stack of die cut letters together. Now I've got my Slimline base here, and again that liquid glue, and I'm just going ahead and gluing the card front on. And that really completes the card. This was a really simple one today, but I thought it was really fun and something that would be really easy for you all to replicate at home. And with this alpha die set, you can change it to say whatever you want. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to see more, and I will catch you in my next video. I hope that you all have a great day.